Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's story is about the night me and my best friend made a huge mistake. Trust me, you'll want to hear how it ended. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get into it. I've never liked February, especially in small towns like ours, where broken down apartment buildings fade into crumbling houses and empty lots. The sky's always grey. The snow's dirty and heavy. It's the kind of place where you either sleep through the cold months or go looking for trouble. Dean and I were walking down a cracked road, jumping over patches of black ice. The trees were bare and creaking in the wind. The air smelled like metal, probably from that old heating plant nearby. Dean held my hand. His fingers were surprisingly warm. He was telling me about an abandoned house at the edge of town, the one we were heading to. I wasn't paying much attention. I just kept thinking how we must have looked. Two teens in dark hoodies, wandering through a half-forgotten neighborhood. We passed an old building. Someone had spray-painted "No Way Out" in red on the wall. The letters looked like they were bleeding. It wasn't even 4 o'clock yet, but the sun was already setting. Everything inside me was screaming, "Turn back now!" But Dean was too excited, and there was no way I was gonna chicken out. "Let's spend the night there," he said, grinning. "It'll be just like a horror movie." I looked at him. He wasn't joking. That same crazy spark was in his eyes, the one that always got us into trouble. Ahead of us, in the growing dark, was the house. 2 stories, boarded up windows, completely silent. "Fine," I said. "My mum's working the night shift, and my brother, well, he won't even notice I'm gone." Before heading in, we stopped at a corner store, grabbed a bunch of chips and 6 cans of cheap energy drinks, enough to keep us awake all night. The porch creaked under our feet. Inside, the smell hit us, mold and something chemical. Dean lit up the room with his phone. The walls were peeling. Furniture was broken and scattered. "Let's check upstairs," he said. The stairs groaned with every step. Somewhere above us, something cracked loudly. I jumped. Dean laughed it off, said it was just the wind. Upstairs, we found a small room with a filthy, dusty couch. Dean wiped it off with his jacket and flopped down. "See, not so bad," he said, cracking open a can. I sat next to him, sipping slowly. The drink burned going down, colder than I expected. The streetlights outside barely lit up through the boarded windows. "Tell me more about that family," I said, trying to shake off the weird feeling. Dean shrugged. "Regular family. Parents, 2 kids. But neighbors said they started acting strange. They moved weird, and their eyes were just empty. One day, the whole family vanished, left everything behind." I was about to laugh it off when we heard something. A noise, somewhere deep inside the house. Dean whispered, "Probably rats." But the way he said it, I could tell he didn't believe it. The noise grew louder. It wasn't rats. The room turned freezing cold. My energy drink nearly slipped out of my hand. We heard it again, a wet, dragging sound, just outside the door. Dean pointed his phone's flashlight toward it. The light just disappeared into the darkness. "We gotta leave," he said, voice shaking. We ran for the stairs, but froze. Standing in the hallway was someone. Tall, way too tall, thin, swaying like they were underwater. It lifted its head. An old woman. Her face was hollow and grey, Her hair hung in wet clumps. She wore a soaking wet nightgown clinging to her bones. "Children," she whispered. Her voice sounded like something ripping apart. Dean tried to stay calm. "Sorry, ma'am, we were just leaving." But she shook her head. "No, stay. It's cold outside." She smiled. Her teeth were dark and broken. Dean's flashlight barely lit her. It was like the darkness was swallowing her whole. I wanted to run, but my body wouldn't move. "Sit," she said, patting the couch. And somehow we sat down. We talked about school, about feeling alone, about home. The old woman just listened. The wetness from her nightgown spread across the couch. The air kept getting colder and heavier. My head started to nod. Dean's too. The last thing I saw was him slumping over, falling asleep. The old woman was gone. I woke up hours later, shivering. Dean was next to me, but his skin was cold and blue. He wasn't breathing. I screamed. I ran to the door. It wouldn't open. The windows were sealed shut, like they were part of the walls. Black, sticky water seeped out from the floor. Time stopped making sense. Day turned into night. Night back into day. I wandered through the halls. Rooms didn't stay in the same place. The house twisted around me. Sometimes I heard Dean's voice, sometimes hers, but mostly it was just me, alone. I don't know how long I was stuck there, until one day someone shook me awake. It was my brother. He and his friends had broken in looking for me. They found me sitting next to Dean's body, mumbling about water and the old woman. Empty energy drink cans were scattered everywhere. At the hospital, they told us we drank contaminated energy drinks, the kind sold out of shady garages. Dean's heart couldn't take it. I made it, barely. Weeks later, I went back to the house. There, faded on a cracked wall, was the outline of a hunched old woman. Maybe it was all in my head. Or maybe she's still there, waiting. Stay safe out there. Don't mess with abandoned places. And never trust a shortcut to adventure. Thanks for sticking around. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.